As a welcome back to the Premier League and to FPL, Fantasy Football Hub are currently offering a very special 90-day free trial as a limited time offer. On Fantasy Football Hub, join a thriving community of other fantasy managers and gain access to extensive Opta stats, player comparison tools, articles, team reveals and much more. To claim your 90-day free trial, simply click the link in the description box below and get signed up before the 17th of June. Warning, this video contains team selection and captain choices which some viewers may find offensive. Hey guys, and welcome back to FPLTV. During the 3-month break from the Premier League, as you probably know, in FPL we were still able to make transfers between the old game week deadlines. Throughout those weeks, I ended up making 3 transfers in total, but with so much uncertainty on if the Premier League would even return, and without knowing what the rescheduled game weeks would look like, if I'm honest, I didn't put much thought into these moves. The first transfer I made was selling Arsenal's Nicolas Pepe for United's in-form Fernandes. At the time, this one to me seemed like a complete no-brainer. I brought in Pepe as a punt for his double game week back in game week 29, but once all the games got postponed, I quickly regretted that move and brought in Fernandes, who I knew I'd probably leave in my team for the rest of the season regardless of what happened. The next move I made was to sell Sergio Aguero and bring in Calvert-Lewin, who at the time was very much in form for Everton. With Aguero, I had owned him for 4 game weeks and he blanked in all 4, including a missed penalty. Frustrating to say the least. The problem now, of course, is that Man City, just like Arsenal and Pepe, have an opening double game week in the new game week 30. But of course, at the time, I wasn't to know that. With so much cash then in the bank from this move, I sold Ayoze Perez, who like Pepe seemed like an easy sell, and used that money to bring in Sadio Mane, leaving me with the double up of Salah and Mane in midfield. Like I said previously, not much thought really went into these transfers, but here's how my squad now currently lines up before using any of the unlimited transfers that FPL have now gifted us. The reason I'm showing you this squad now before making any unlimited transfers is because what I'm trying to decide is whether I use the free hit chip or not for double game week 30. And if I do use the free hit chip, then the squad now shown on screen is what I'll get back in the following game week 31, and I don't have a wildcard to fall back on either. If you were thinking to get clever and make unlimited transfers to fix your squad and then use the free hit for game week 30, unfortunately that's not going to work. The free hit will undo any of the unlimited transfers that you've made. So, let's first take a look at my potential free hit team for double game week 30. Also, if you enjoy the content here at FPL TV, then please support the channel by dropping a like and most importantly getting subscribed. You can also hit the notification bell so you always know when a new video goes live. The luxury with using the free hit for this opening game week is that it allows me to really focus on double game week players and to take a few punts without having to think about owning these players for the longer term. According to double game week guru Ben Crellin, who I would highly recommend following on Twitter, he suggests that providing everything goes to plan, then game week 30 should be the only double game week left this season. Of course, we can never be certain of this, because if any footballer does get taken ill, perhaps then we'll see even more postponements. But as far as we know, it's likely this will be the only double game week left. For this reason, using the free hit and loading up on double game week players is very tempting. This particular draft has been made to accommodate the 2 big hitters up front in Aguero and Aubameyang, and it's very difficult to separate these 2 for double game week 30. To afford these 2 up front, I've of course had to make cuts elsewhere, by dropping the likes of Mane and Salah away to Everton, and perhaps taking a punt on Billy Sharp up front at a budget 5.6 million. There's no guarantees that Billy Sharp plays both games, but I fancy his chances against a leaky Aston Villa if he does. As for Aston Villa, Jack Grealish is probably the only player from them that I'm interested in. With Villa having one of the worst defensive records this season, I won't be going near their defenders, though maybe taking a punt on John McGinn or Conor Hourihane in midfield could be an option for their back-to-back home games. The idea is to also double up on the reliable Sheffield United defence, and with John Lundstram scoring 2 goals in a recent friendly, it could be rude not to include the Lord in this draft, even despite him being a slight rotation risk. If I am to use the free hit, then I'd say 9 of these players are pretty nailed into my final free hit draft, with only Billy Sharp the real questionable choice. The final midfield spot is still up for grabs though, and I've got 8.3 million left to spend. As for double game week players, as mentioned, I could punt on Villa's John McGinn or Conor Hourihane. There's also Arsenal's Saka at a budget 4.7 million, or another option would be going for John Fleck at Sheffield United and then upgrading Billy Sharp up front to somebody else. During a double game week though, it's always very easy to get sucked into all the teams playing twice and therefore overlooking some of the single game week players. And that too can be said about my current choice of Billy Sharp. For the final midfield spot, ironically, there is one differential who's valued at the exact price of 8.3 million, and that player is Paul Pogba. So, seeing as I'm on a free hit with nothing to lose, is it worth taking a 1 week gamble on the Frenchman? It's a punt, don't get me wrong, but something I'm strongly considering. Granted, it is away to Spurs though, so admittedly not the best of fixtures. There are forwards with a single fixture in Game Week 30 that are still certainly within my thinking, including Jimenez and Jota away to West Ham, and also Tammy Abraham facing his former club Aston Villa. Any of those can be brought in for Billy Sharp, but I'll then need a much cheaper option than Pogba in midfield. So that gives you an idea of my potential free hit team for double Game Week 30, and if I am to go ahead with the free hit, then this is how my team would then line up for Game Week 31 when my old squad returns. To be fair, the old squad would look in decent shape for 31, with plenty of home games across the board in my starting 11. The only glaring issues are the distinct lack of Man City coverage, and perhaps not having any real big hitters up front. Adama Traore and his uncertainty of starts is a bit of a weak link, but after the opening game week of the restart, perhaps then I'll have a bit more information on him on whether he'll be a decent option going forward. Wolves have some excellent fixtures to end this season and certainly have a lot to play for, so I'm happy with my old squad to have plenty of Wolves coverage. I do have lots of money invested in midfield in the Mane and Salah double up, but maybe once the title's wrapped up and they have a little less to play for, perhaps then I can move one of them on and balance out the squad a bit more. It's also worth noting that goalkeeper Dean Henderson won't be able to play in Game Week 31 due to him then facing his parent club Manchester United, so keep that in mind and maybe have a backup in place if you do want him in your squad. So let me know in the comments below what you make of my potential free hit team, and would you be happy with this old squad then coming back for Game Week 31 and beyond? The free hit strategy is certainly the way I'm leaning, but as always I'll be uploading my final team selection over on Twitter shortly before the game week deadline. If you enjoyed this video, be sure as always to drop a like and get subscribed to FPLTV. FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon. Lastly, if you do have 30 seconds to spare, then please consider voting for FPLTV as the best fantasy football creator at this year's Football Content Awards. Simply click the link in the description box below, scroll down to Best in Fantasy Football, select FPLTV in the video category, and then submit your vote at the bottom of the page. Once again, there's some fantastic creators up for the award, but if you think this channel deserves to win, then your vote is very much appreciated. Thank you and catch you soon.